Hello, Nick Robinson.
Hey,
Hey, have you ever played a real time strategy game?
I have played the Age of Empires video
That's
game.
fine. My favorite thing in any RTS is when you get a whole clump of your dudes and then
Mhm.
you throw them at the other dudes. And 10-minute Barbarian is a game that's just sort of like that condensed. So you're this little barbarian cat there in the upper left hand corner, and you're in a forest, a land that you do not know the lay of the land. You do not know by the fog of war is hidden.
Okay.
Um, and there are throughout the map there are soldiers for you to recruit. Those guys, there's different types of soldiers. Those there are they're called rabble. They're kind of
Okay.
like the worst low tier fellas. And you can see there's some rabble there that are in red. And all the things in red are enemies, right?
Gotcha.
So those are friendly. That's all friendly rabble that I'm collecting there. And you can see there at the bottom left hand corner of my screen, these are all the troops I have,
Okay.
right? So I have 100 rabble, and they're going to take on that enemy rabble that I just walked onto. You can see there that I lost 4 dudes, but I killed them, and now I own that. So now, with every step I take, with every square I move, a day passes. I'm upgrading there with gold so I can have more rabble in my army. For every step I take, a day passes, and those bases that I've captured generate more dudes. So now I can go back to them once I've already visited them and basically fill my army up with more people.
I do love any game that depicts combat as a zoomed in battle between like a whole bunch of dudes and then they crash into each other and some of them disappear.
It's awesome. Now here I'm fighting a whole slew. I got some cavalry, got some soldiers, got some archers. As you can see, they're kind of mowing through my rabble, but because I have so many rabble,
Hmm.
I'm going to pull through.
A lot of
I
skeletons
lost,
left behind there.
yeah, a lot of skeletons. Now I captured that and I won, but that I lost more than I killed, and that's going to affect my overall score in the end.
Hmm.
Um, so that's kind of, you want to try to avoid places where you're really outclassed, because that's sort of the strategy of that is it affects how you do in the end.
So,
Um,
how did you find this? Is this a browser game or a Steam game? Like, where is this?
this is on Steam, just released last week. The developer emailed me about it, and I just kind of started playing it. I got kind of hooked on it. So,
Hmm.
um, as you can see, sometimes if I'm got overwhelming force,
You don't
there's no
even,
battle.
yeah, no
Yeah,
animation. You just
like
stomp right through them.
yeah, no problem. I just stomp right through them. Now, as you can see, I've got some things on the map that are a little bit scarier. I'm paying some more gold to increase the size of my army because I topped out my archers at 100. Um, so here we've got my big ass army versus some soldiers. I sped it up a little bit.
Hmm.
Those tree ants are very scary. They can wipe out a lot of people. So that's why I built up my army
Mm.
before I attempted one of those. You see the defenses there. My
Yeah.
soldiers were taking those on before I could they would move on to the other folks.
So you have to, if you want to add guys who are ready to your army, you kind of have to manually walk back over that space and then rope them in.
Exactly, and their time passes every time I do that. Um, Here's
This
another
this
battle
might be a
here.
closer one here. This is looking
Yeah.
pretty rugged.
So as you can see there, they've got a dragon, which isn't great for me.
No.
But the good news is that once I win this fight, which I have faith that I will because I did it a while ago. Once I win this fight, I have a dragon on my team now,
I'll tell you. Do
and
you ever end up in situations where you have defenses like that, like a wall defending you from the
I
opponent?
haven't yet because you're always sort of the attacker.
Hmm.
But it's possible later on in the game that may happen. You could spend more money to buy more dragons if you want to do that. You can. We haven't even what you're trying to do. You can see up there at the top of the screen. You can see days till apocalypse, right?
Hmm.
With every step I take, I'm counting that timer down. What I'm trying to do is capture all of the enemy bases before that timer runs out. Sped up fight here. Capture all the bases before the time runs out, and that will unite the kingdom. As you can see here, when you beat a stage, beat a fort, you can choose. Sometimes you can choose if you want knights or archers or whatever. And there are special structures too that sort of temple with the tree on it.
Mm-hmm.
If I conquer that, it'll let me buy my own trees for my team, which is cool. Yeah, so the you'll see what this is all sort of building to in a little bit. The red territories are places that are under enemy control, and when you walk through those, you lose soldiers. So it is in your interest to not travel through enemy territory more than you have to.
Seeing the benefits of having a dragon right now.
Yeah. Now this went kind of bad, right? Because I didn't have enough foot soldiers to take down a barricade, and as a result, like it took a lot longer, and I lost more fellas than I should have because I didn't have what I needed. This is it's important to have both kinds. I still won, but I took a lot of losses because I couldn't get to their archers. As you can see, my force is getting pretty massive at this point.
Yeah, that's actually one thing that I think is super impressive about this game is just seeing the sheer number of dudes on screen. This is
awesome.
Yeah,
it's awesome. Yeah, it's like it's really, especially late in the a game. Each of these, I between 10 to 15 minutes to do each sort of map. And again, you get a score based on how many you saved. What I didn't know when I was playing this is that the rabble are really cheap to recruit, so I was getting a lot of them. But because they die so quickly, they hurt basically your KD spread. So now you can, so like it doesn't always behoove you to have a bunch of them. You know what I mean? Because they go down so quick. So you got 10 days after you unite the kingdom. If you beat the timer, 10 days. And after those 10 days pass, the apocalypse begins. So those 4 enemy things turned into like basically the hardest things in the game. But since you've united the kingdom, you have forces that you can use to take them on. Again, there's a time element here because as you're fighting and moving around the map, they're taking swings they're taking shots at forces, fortresses and bases and stuff, and they can destroy places for you to get where you get soldiers. So you want to try to stop the apocalypse like as quickly as possible.
I'm assuming this is not footage of your first ever playthrough, right?
This is like the 3rd level, I guess you could say.
Okay.
I think I actually had played this a couple times before. But it's one of those. It sort of structurally reminds me of like your Kingdom Rushes or what have you, because they inject like a new sort of element each time, in each stage, or at least they have up to this point. Like in the stage following this, I found like upgrades to my Dragon Fire by recruiting a wizard on my team that made my dragon stronger, that sort of thing. As you can see, there's no more soldiers in the apocalypse to recruit from bases, but you do get money you can use to buy more dragons or what have you.
It seems like there's kind of a lot here. Like it's maybe not 100% the prettiest video game I've ever looked at, but like
that's fair.
There's that good meaty gameplay depth in there that I think
there's a lot of there's a lot of levels to it. There's a lot of questions of like, I could use some more guys right now, but if I walk back over there to get them, that's going to be time that I'm wasting. Can I spend the time, or like I'm already here? Is it worth it just to like take a shot and try to do it? You also in later stages get the ability to, in those battles, I'm not really doing anything in the battles other than controlling the dragon fire. But in later stages, you get flags that you can plant, and you can use the flag to command the direction of your troops. So you can order them to go around barricades, stuff like that, which is really helpful.
That makes it a little more almost like what I think of as traditional RTS combat, where you like are very actually hands-on with the troops and not just kind of watching this battle play out.
Yeah, you can do some basic stuff. As you can see, I positioned my tree ants there for maximum efficacy. Here's a place where being able to control my troops would have been really helpful, because you see a lot of them just getting backed up. If I had the flag, I could tell them like, listen, just don't waste your time, go around. But I'm overpowering with my massive army in this fight, so it will not be close.
There you go.
And then I win, and so at the end it compares how many died versus how many you killed. I didn't do a great job, as you can see there. But it also shows how many villages you were able to keep, and how many fortresses that survived the demon lords, and it gives you a score, a final rating based upon that. Typical Barbarian is the worst you could do. So, of course, immediately went back and played the level again to see if I could do a better job. They're randomly generated each time you play. So it's a different time, but I think the basic number of things in it are the same. But that is 10-minute Barbarian.
It's cool.
It's on a Steam for Mac and PC right now.
That's awesome. I'll check it out.
You better. Watch your back.